Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney. On this channel, we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. I've got a confession to make. I hurt myself trying to do the Rock's chest flex move where he pops his pectoral muscles. Yeah. I was sitting here like an idiot, like an adult man-child. He's like, I wonder if I can do that. And I was like, trying to do it. And I just, I pulled a chest muscle, and it hurts. And I mean, I guess that's why Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is famous. He does dangerous things. He gets away with it. He's incredible. You can't beat it, right? Anyways, I'm just gonna soldier on. We go forward. We answer the question. We have a question, more of a comment really, from a YouTube user named Mr. Osasco. Mr. Osasco says, it is unlawful for an employer to give any kind of feedback on ex-employees other than confirming you work there, or unless you give them written permission. That is what Mr. Osasco says. Okay, so listen, that is not the law of the land. That is not even the law of any jurisdiction I am aware of. Now, Mr. Osasco, let me give you a benefit of the doubt. You may work at a job where a collective bargaining agreement or some kind of other contract makes it so that your employer can't give an employee reference on you, a feedback to future employers. That is possible. It is very, very unlikely, but it is possible. It is also theoretically possible that you work in a jurisdiction where that is the law. And I just am not aware of that jurisdiction in all of the United States. That is entirely possible as well. Listen, I can't comment on the laws of every jurisdiction in the U.S. That's just not possible, nor am I allowed to. So those things that I just mentioned are possible. However, very unlikely. And the reality is that you are just writing on the internet things that you have no idea about. You're like making up nonsense that or you heard it somewhere and you're regurgitating it, and that's fine. But you have no knowledge whatsoever, it would appear, of any kind. And yet here you are telling people, and people are going to read that and they're going to think you know what you're talking about because they don't know that maybe you're low-key a little bit ignorant. And I don't mean this to be an attack, but we need to have a conversation about talking about things that we don't know about with confidence, right? I'll tell you what I don't do. I don't hold forth on microbiology on the internet. There's a good reason. I don't know the first goddamn thing about microbiology. I don't. My knowledge tails off somewhere around mitochondria, DNA, RNA. Do I have a working knowledge of those concepts? I might think I do, but I probably don't, right? And it's important for me to know that, right? And Mr. Osasco, I suspect I don't know much about the things you know about, right? I'm sure there's a million and one things that you know more about than I do. But I'll tell you one thing. Based on this post, one of those things is probably not employment law. And certainly not references. And so when you hold forth and you typey the nonsense, and people read it and they might believe you, you are harming people. You are harming people, right? Because someone could go into their job tomorrow having read your inane post, and they could say, oh, you can't give me a reference, bah, 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 bah. And they don't, they fight with the employer, they don't give 2 weeks notice, whatever it is, right? They just walk out on bad terms because they think that the employer cannot legally give them a negative reference. And they go apply for a job. And this new employer calls the old employer for a reference, and the old employer says, yeah, that guy's a jerk. That guy came in the office on their last day and told us off, told us we all suck our thumbs and stick our toes up donkey butts. We're mad at him. We don't like him. We think he's a jerk. We don't think you should give him a job. Now, the new employer could still give our hypothetical person a job, but I would say that perhaps the chances have gone down that they will. And I'm not going to lie to you, Mr. Osasco, part of that in that hypothetical would be your fault because you misled someone on the internet to believe that their employer couldn't give them a reference. And that's simply not true. Now, there's many employers who choose not to give a reference. They give a neutral reference, just the dates of employment, right? That is common because they're afraid of liability. But that is a practical choice certain employers make, and not all employers make that choice. So when you tell people this is against the law, and they believe you, they act accordingly, right? They extrapolate from the information available to them. And listen, we can talk about the fact that they shouldn't be trusting random commenters on the internet. That's listen, if you're getting legal advice from the comments in YouTube, on this channel, it's actually pretty good. There's a lot of really good support structure on this channel. Also, the Fight Employment Discrimination channel has an incredible support structure in the comments. I've seen comments in there. I'm like, is that person an employment attorney? Can I hire that person? Does that person want a job? Like, where are you located? Do you have a law degree? Are you admitted to the bar? But and the same goes for this channel. Certainly, like there's people on this channel, including a friend of the channel, David, who hasn't passed the bar, but he sure knows a little bit, to quote Jay-Z. And if he did pass the bar, I'll tell you right now, his first job offer would probably be from me, right? And there's several more of you who I feel that way about. But generally speaking, if you're getting legal advice from the comments on YouTube, which are universally derided as one of the stupidest places on earth, no offense, comment section, you're wonderful. Our comment section is wonderful. But generally speaking, the comments on YouTube are a cesspool of idiocy, right? And just hate and rage and blah, right? Like it's just insane people. Or even worse, sane people who don't know anything. So, Mr. Osasco, I would urge you that when you want to make sweeping statements about things you don't know about, pause, take a breath, think about, well, what's the basis of this knowledge? Why do I believe this thing? Oh, I have no basis for this knowledge. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate, but I'm glad I stopped myself from posting because I could have harmed someone, right? And I think that's probably a best case scenario, right? Like we all think things that maybe aren't based in fact. And Mr. Osasco, let me be clear here. I'm giving you a bit of a hard time, but like I am right there with you. Like I am including myself in this dressing down, in this as the subject of this berating, right? Like I am guilty of these things. Not on this channel, because on this channel I purely talk about things I know about, and when there's things I don't know about, I just don't talk about them, right? But like if I'm elsewhere in the world or on the internet, whatever it is, people are like, well, that breed of chicken is not good as a meat bird because they have heart attacks. I'm guilty of being like, no, they don't. What's my test case? 30 birds. 30 birds in total, right? And the person I'm talking to might have run 30,000 birds. And they might be like, oh, every 1,000 birds you get a couple heart attacks, right? Well, I don't know that because I've only run 30 birds, right? Like we raised 30 meat chickens of one particular breed. They all went amazing. They were phenomenal. The quality of the meat was great. There was no heart attacks. There was no disease. They were happy, healthy birds. And everybody who ate the birds loved them, right? Off my farm. So I think I know something. But I'll tell you what, I sure don't. Because 30 birds is not 30,000. I have anecdotal notions that have no basis in the data of reality. So, Mr. Osasco, it seems like I'm giving you a hard time, but I'm talking to myself. You and I, we're guilty of the same thing. We're guilty of the same thing. We're just in a weird position today where I have to address what you're saying because it could hurt people. Right? Like I can't let you hurt people. So this is the thing that I happen to know about, and perhaps the thing that maybe you don't happen to know about. And so we're in this weird, right? Like, but there's lots of things in the world where I'm sure I post on the internet, and you would hop on there and be like, Vince, you're a moron. And I'd read what you wrote and your explanation of why I was wrong, and I would say, I am a moron. I really am. Thank you, Mr. Osasco, for correcting me before the dumb stuff I wrote hurt someone. So I hope you understand. Like, I'm trying to be funny. I'm trying to be silly. I'm trying to be playful. I don't mean to go in on you. But this thing you posted is just not true. Just not true. Anyways, like, subscribe, comment down below, share the channel so it can grow. Take care, everyone.